Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Temperature's not that bad here in Chicago. 35 degrees. The breeze not awful either here on December 21st. Sam Martin will kick it away. The Bears will start this game with the football. And Mark Mariani is back waiting for the kick, and so that means that right out of the chute we're going to see Jimmy Clausen and what he and the Bears offense can do. Lions are in the playoffs. The Bears have a lot of questions to answer. And Mariani will take it out. Good return out to the 25. It's funny, you know, since the last 2 weeks have unfolded, we've seen a side of Jay Cutler where he's been charming, self-effacing. Now he's supportive of Jimmy Clausen. A nice moment before this start for Jimmy. First time in almost 4 years for number 8. And I don't know, Troy, how you go out there if you're Clausen, finally getting this chance, not trying to do too much.
Well, they're going to try to get him into a rhythm here early in this ball game with some quick passing.
They roll him out, short throw, and thank you very much for coming, says Martellus Bennett. You're going to start 0 for 1 as that ball had some heat on it, and Bennett just couldn't haul it in. Wasn't much there anyway, and for this 18th ranked offense, some of the guys that have to come through today for number 8.
Yeah, we talked about it a moment ago that he's got to be able to rely on those people around him. Martellus Bennett, he drops a first down pass, but Matt Forte, I would expect to figure heavily into this game plan this afternoon.
Quick throw, Wilson. How about that play? Coming up from the corner spot, Mathis. The immediate tackle, a gain of 1, and this defense is terrific. They're coordinated by Terrell Austin, the coordinator, and Ndamukong Suh. The whole thing runs through him. And you wonder, for a free agent to be, what this defense would look like without big number 90 there in the middle.
Yeah, he is a real force in the middle, and it doesn't matter if he's got double teams or not. When he shows up and really wants to put pressure on the quarterback, he's as good as anybody in the game.
3rd down and 9, and they hand it off. That's Forte, and 3 and out. Jason Jones, who had the big week last week for Detroit. And whether it's number 8, number 6, that serenade has greeted this Bears offense when they've headed back to the sideline.
Yeah, fans are a little restless, but Mark Trestman, he decides to come out 1st and 2nd down, try to get the ball out quickly out of Clausen's hands. They don't get much to show for it, and then a 3rd down run, and I think that was probably what the fans were voicing displeasure over more than anything.
O'Donnell, the rookie, will hit it. He's been a bright spot. Jeremy Ross waiting for it, and he gets. They're going to throw a flag. That was an awful late fair catch signal, but he got hit by Sherrick McManus after a 49-yard punt, and they throw the flag. We'll get the call from Gene Steratore, one of the best in the business. There's enough discussion to make you wonder if that was a definitive fair catch signal with enough time, but you don't mess with Steratore.
Initially, the foul for fair catch interference is to be disregarded. The player was blocked into the fair catch signaler. During the kick was holding receiving team number 57. That penalty will be 10 yards from the end of the kick. 1st down, Detroit.
So in the end, it's a hold against Bynes right there, number 57. He did not let go of Dante Rosario, and so here we go. Detroit's offense. Have you been waiting for the Lions to bust out of it and really get on a roll? They weren't good last week against the Vikings.
No, it was a good defensive team that they faced in Minnesota. The 2 weeks prior to that, they were outstanding offensively, over 400 yards. And really, Joe, they need to show that they can play well against a good defensive team. The Bears are not one of those good defensive teams, however.
Bush is lined up wide to the left at the top of the screen. Pass caught. That's him. And he is out across the 20 by a few inches, a gain of 8. Christian Jones on the tackle in this offense. Comes in ranked 17th. They've got some playmakers. They have more health than they've had over the last couple of months, but they also need to prove they can run the ball.
Yeah, I think if you look at this team offensively, it has been inconsistent throughout the year, and you touched on it, Joe. They have had a lot of injuries. They're without Adrian Waddle. Again today, he's been put on IR, and they're going with Cornelius Lucas, the undrafted rookie.
Pass caught wide open over the middle. Calvin Johnson gets hit, dropped, a gain of 18, and starting the day 2 for 2 is Stafford.
Well, Calvin Johnson had a big day the last time these two teams met on Thanksgiving. You see the pocket that's afforded Matthew Stafford, the route then on the outside by Calvin Johnson, and the Bears, like they did a few weeks ago, they're going to have the rookie Kyle Fuller in coverage a good part of the time on Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson won that matchup.
That's Tate in motion, handoff to Bush. I don't know if people realize, Troy, that Reggie Bush was a 1,000-yard back last year. He's been banged up this year. He's only played 9 games coming in. He's suffered through an ankle injury. But he's somebody that if they could get him on a roll, what a difference he could make.
It's been a tough year for him all season long because of the various injuries and the nagging things that he's had to fight through. And I know Jim Caldwell this week said that in practice it's the best that he's looked in a long time. So they're hoping that he's getting healthy at just the right time.
Quick pass. It's caught. That's Johnson again. And he is being worked on, as you said, by the rookie Kyle Fuller, a gain of 11.
Yeah, now what the Bears want to do is they want to come up and play a little more press coverage. And you see Kyle Fuller, who he's up on Calvin Johnson a few weeks back, a lot of soft coverage. The Bears were able to get some pressure on Stafford, but because of the off coverage, the ball came out on time. Trying to mix it up today.
Here's Wynn. George Wynn gets the carry. Brought down by Christian Jones. And here's a look at this defense, which is really not good. This is the area they concentrated on during the offseason after a really good offensive year last year for Chicago. And some of the names, but they've been banged up. No Briggs, no Houston, no Tillman, no DJ Williams.
I think they knew that they had some concerns coming into the year defensively. Last in the league last year in run defense. Tried to address that. They did. But it has been some growing pains, especially in that secondary.
Stafford all day, and then underthrows Tate. Stafford was not sacked last week against the Vikings, but he's a guy that gets hit a lot. He's been sacked 39 times, and he has proven from his rookie year on, that game against the Browns, he's one of the tougher guys at that position.
Yeah, and he's a great competitor, and we've seen that really throughout his career, especially this season. This team has never been out of it. You think all year long they've had a number of games where they have fallen behind early. Last week against Minnesota. Think back to that game in London against Atlanta. But there's no quit in this team, and it's largely due to the fact that Matthew Stafford is their quarterback.
Important third down here for the Bears defense, and they second. Brought down by Jared Allen. And that has to feel good for the veteran getting the sack on 3rd and 5, his 6th of the year.
Well, here's the tight coverage. Come up, play press, not allow these free releases off the line of scrimmage. You see the job that this secondary does, and they get pressure on Matthew Stafford. As I said, a few weeks ago, they were able to get that pressure, but the ball was able to come out. But Stafford was going to the ground. This time, he just didn't have an opportunity to get to an open guy.
Bears are coming at Martin. Going for a block, and Sam Martin gets it away. Mariani with a fair catch signal at about the 15. So good work by the Bears defense. They allow a couple of completions to Calvin Johnson, but then hold on 3rd and 5. More for Clausen, no score.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
You want action, you want traffic, you want fun, come to Chicago. It's a great city, Christmas week. 2nd year for Mark Trestman. Will it be his 2nd and final year as head coach of the Bears? The late handoff Forte. Levy is the guy who makes the play. A gain of just 2. Change up front with a couple of rookies starting at guard. Kyle Long, a Pro Bowler last year, first-round pick, is out with a hip injury. So Michael Ola plays at right guard. And Ryan Groy, another rookie, starts at left guard.
Yeah, and Ola, who's making his 12th start of the season, has already started at left tackle, right tackle, left guard, and now he gets his first start of the season at right guard.
2nd and 8, another one for Forte. And you just don't run the ball against the Lions. A gain of 2. Whitehead, the middle linebacker, made the stop. 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, that's the strength of this defensive unit, that front 7, and especially the front 4, and the job that they do. And so hard to run the football against them. They get you into these situations. They're able to get pressure on the quarterback. And these safeties for this Detroit defense, they've been outstanding playmakers throughout the year.
10 interceptions between them.
Easy, 5-4, 5-4.
3rd down and 6. Pass is to Noah. In between Jeffrey and Bennett. And another 3 and out.
Well, pretty good coverage there by the Detroit Lions. And Clausen is trying to get the ball to Alshon Jeffrey. But he's unable to get out of that break and create any type of separation. So this defense doing a good job here in the early going, forcing a few 3 and outs.
Ross waiting for another punt from Patrick O'Donnell. Punted collegiately at Miami. This one shorter. Ross will stay away, and it checks backward where it's tapped down at the 43. 2nd possession coming up for Detroit. They're in the playoffs. No score.
Game is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Take a look at the NFC North. Detroit right now with a tiebreaker on Green Bay. They beat them earlier in the year. They are in Green Bay at Lambeau next week. A win today and a Green Bay loss at Tampa Bay. They're scoreless early. The Lions win the NFC North, or if they win out, the Lions win the NFC North for the first time. This is Bush. And Reggie Bush knocked out of bounds with a gain of 5. Last divisional title for the Lions, 1993. And when they won it, they were in the NFC Central. They lost a wild card game that year to Green Bay. Last time they had a playoff win was 1991 against the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I'll tell you, everybody's been waiting to see what's going to happen with this team in the second half of the year. They've held it together nicely.
Reggie Bush draws a crowd. Well played as Kyle Fuller was there with Ratliff helping. Let's go to Joel Klatt with a game break.
All right, Joe, we go down to New Orleans. Of course, the Saints can win the NFC South with a win and a Carolina loss. This is going to help. Jalen Saunders, the rookie, in his first career kickoff return, takes it all the way back inside the 5. Mark Ingram would score on the next play. Atlanta answers with a field goal. It's 7-3 Saints in the Dome. Joe and Troy.
Saints a tough team to figure this year. Took apart Chicago on Monday night. 3rd and 6. Stafford fires it incomplete. They're going to throw a flag. And they're going to get the rookie Fuller, who was interfering with the work of Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, with Kyle Fuller, he's got some help over the top, so he's able to play inside. He was in a great position defensively. Did not have to grab him like he did.
Spot foul, automatic. First down.
Kyle Fuller, he was high-fiving some of the defensive players. He never saw the flag come in that was thrown behind him. A good call there by the official. And again, Kyle Fuller with help didn't have to do anything more than just stay in position, which he had beautiful position on Calvin Johnson. He gets called to extend this drive.
15-yard penalty, first down. Golden Tate on the outside. Fuller was there, and he got help from the linebacker Jones. A gain of 5. And
we talked about this Detroit offense, Joe, and you think about Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator who came over from New Orleans and is calling plays for the first time in the National Football League. There's a look at Joe Lombardi there, and it's been hard on them. They came in wanting to be more two tight end offense, and then without the tight ends, a number of injuries at that position, and all these guys that have been down. It's been hard on Matthew Stafford, but it's been hard on the play caller also.
2nd and 5, and trying to hook up with Megatron, cannot do it.
I think a little bit of a miscommunication there on what Matthew Stafford was expecting from Calvin Johnson, because they got one-on-one with Johnson on Fuller, which is what we've already seen it here in the early going. We're going to see that matchup throughout this game. I like that matchup for the Lions. I think you give one up high to Calvin Johnson, you got a real opportunity.
Have yet to see Joyce Bell. He's kind of taken over that running back spot in this game. 3rd and 5. Lions already in field goal range for Prater, and he'll be next on the stage as the pass is incomplete. Riddick, the intended target.
Well, Stephen Paillet, he's been exceptional this season in being able to get pressure in the middle. And then Willie Young, who's having a great year as well, 10 sacks on the season. He comes up the middle, and so Matthew Stafford has an open guy and just unable to get the ball in his hands.
Well, they pass on a 52-yard try, and Jim Caldwell's going to go for it on 4th and 5. Easily in the range of Prater, but a chance on 4th down. And the pass caught. That's Bush. He is inside the 20. Down inside the 15. That play looked doomed from the beginning, but somehow Stafford found Reggie Bush, who made a good catch and picks up 21.
I don't know how he caught this, Joe. Rob Sims comes out. Jonathan Bostic is in a great position, but Sims gets just enough of him. You see the catch by Reggie Bush. It didn't look like it had a chance of going anywhere, and yet they're able to convert that on 3rd down. That's an excellent job by Reggie Bush bringing the ball in.
That's a good sign for Detroit. Get Reggie Bush going. That was all Reggie. Now they hand it to him. Reggie Bush gonna dive for the touchdown. Third game back off the injury, and he looks to be very healthy.
Yeah, watch how he's able to get on the corner. He starts inside Riley Reef. He's able to get just enough of Jared Allen to make the block, and with the speed then of Reggie Bush, he's able to get on the edge, and that's a touchdown.
Second rushing touchdown of the season for Reggie Bush. A 13-yard carry. The biggest play was that catch he made on 4th and 5. For the Lions, who lead in Chicago by 7.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further. By Bank of America. And by Target. Expect more, pay less.
Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide. On a pleasant day, Week 16 in the NFL season, December 21st. Reggie Bush, huge part of that drive. That bottom line, the biggest part of it. 21-yarder on 4th and 5. And then into the end zone with a 13-yard carry, as this one will go out of the back of the end zone. And the Bears down by 7 with Jimmy Clausen at quarterback. We'll start at the 20. Jimmy Clausen, a tremendous player in high school. 2006 Offensive Player of the Year at Oaks Christian. Thousand Oaks, California. Went to Notre Dame, came out after his junior year. Second-round pick by Carolina, goes 1-9. Signed by the Bears in June, and after that rookie season, Carolina had a new coach in Ron Rivera and had a first pick overall and took Cam Newton. And that was it for Clausen. First start in almost 4 years, and he's got a man. Pass caught, Wilson. And it's the second completion, the first big one for Clausen, good for 18.
This is an excellent job by Jimmy Clausen. This is what he talked about. It's all a part of Mark Trestman's offense. You got to go through your progressions. He wants to play this on the front side. It's not there. His eyes come back to the backside. His feet go with him, and he delivers an accurate throw. These are the things that we saw Josh McCown do very well last year when he stepped in for Jay Cutler. Mark Trestman believes in his offense and feels that there are answers regardless of whatever a defense does.
Trying to set up a screen. He's got one to Forte. He's got a good block, and Matt Forte, after the completion to Wilson, gets 10. Let's say this for Mark Trestman, who is now the quote-unquote embattled Mark Trestman. Last year, this was the #2 scoring offense in the NFL. #1 in the NFC. And a lot of that was the work of the guy you mentioned, Josh McCown, who got a 2-year, $10 million deal in Tampa Bay. Went 3-2 as a starter, threw only 1 pick.
Yeah, he was 3-2, but he played exceptionally well. And this offense was very productive when he was in the lineup.
So make it 1st and 5.
Encroachment. Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
McCown, Troy, threw for over 1,800 yards in 8 games, but 5 starts, went 3-2, 13 touchdowns, 1 interception. Then Cutler comes back from the injury, and he wasn't as good as he was before he went down.
Yeah, he struggled, maybe regressed a little bit, and came into the season based on the time he had invested in the offseason, expected a lot more out of him.
Here's Forte. He's got another first down. And a good drive being put together here by the Bears as Matt Forte gets 10.
Yeah, right into the teeth of that #1 run defense by Matt Forte. Excellent job up front. We talked about it. They're without Kyle Long at right guard. Ola making the start there. And yet they run right in behind him. And
brought down by Bynes. You think about the weapons here. You got a big tight end in Bennett. When they're healthy, they have 2 huge good wide receivers in Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey, and one of the best backs in the NFL that can do everything. There's Brandon Marshall, who was out with broken ribs.
Yeah, pretty much the same group that we saw last year. They lose a lot without Brandon Marshall on the field, but Alshon Jeffrey still an explosive guy. Matt Forte leads the team in receiving. He can do a lot from the backfield. They still have some weapons for Clausen to get the ball to.
5-7. 5-7, Mike right. Hey, 26, left. Left, 26.
Just got it away. Clausen has got Wilson. And Wilson to the 30. Going to be a yard shy of a first down. For more on Brandon Marshall, here's Aaron.
We mentioned Brandon Marshall out for this season with rib and lung injuries, Joe. Not a lot of smiling going on in the Chicago sideline, but there was when he came out to see his team. He's been away from the team the past couple of days. His wife gave birth to a boy and a little girl this week, and they just came home this Friday, today. So this is the very first day he's seen everybody.
And here's supporting his team on 3rd down and 2. Here's Forte. And Forte's not going to get it. And it's Ndamukong Suh who made that play. It's going to be 4th down. And if you're 5 and 9, why not go for it?
And the big number 90 right in the middle. You see the double team, and he's able to fight through that and then make the play on Matt Forte. That's an outstanding job by Ndamukong Suh taking that on. That's some tough work there in the trenches. And I like this decision by Mark Trestman.
4th down and 1. Quick throw, Jeffrey. And he's got it. With blockers out there in front of him, a gain of 4 yards on 4th and 1.
Well, it's set up pretty well, Joe, because here they go with the stack, and they put Alshon Jeffrey off the ball. You can't get a press on him. They block it up, and then he's got to go get it with inside-out pursuit by the Detroit Lions. An excellent job of execution. Ball comes out quickly with Clausen. First down, Bears.
At the 26. Seems like Clausen settled in a little bit.
Yeah, just 9 passing attempts this season coming into this game, and you can imagine there was a little bit of nerves coming into his first start in 3 years.
He fires it incomplete for Wilson. Pass broken up by Rasheem Mathis. 2nd and 10, but a good throw.
Yeah, I've been impressed with what I've seen so far from Jimmy Clausen. You're going to watch his feet. He talked about it. His feet dictate when the ball comes out. And it's good timing on his part, getting to the outside receiver, the one-on-one matchup, and that's a ball Marquise Wilson has to drive back on and make a play for his quarterback.
57, split it. 180!
Trying to set up a screen again. It's not there. Clausen going to run and slide to make it a more manageable 3rd down. And that could do it for quarter number 1 here in Chicago.
Even that, Clausen showing good poise because they're trying to set up the screen. And you always worry then if it's not there, if you don't throw it away, then you're going to have an illegal man downfield. If you try to throw the ball down the field to another receiver, he's aware of that. He takes off scrambling and is able to pick up some positive yardage.
It's a 7-0 game, but now Stafford and the rest of us watching Jimmy Clausen get his team down the field. There's the first touchdown of the day. Back after this from your local Fox station. 3rd down and 6 as we start the 2nd quarter for Chicago.
Yep.
Pass caught. Jeffrey, 1st down. He got to the 10. And now Clausen showing what was his calling card at Notre Dame, a very accurate quarterback in college.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job. And then the double team up front once again by Ndamukong Suh. How would you like to have that be your job each week and battle a couple of 300-pounders? And not a lot of fun, but he makes it look easy at times. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him at the end of this year, whether or not he's going to return in the Lions uniform.
Hey, white! 57.
Toss to Forte. Matt Forte down near the 2. And the Bears are doing what you said. They are forcing the run against this number 1 ranked run defense.
Yeah, and that's good because even though they got ahead on Thanksgiving Day, they only had 8 rushing attempts in that game. Matt Forte only carried the ball 5 times for 6 yards on Thanksgiving. Already today, he's had a number of carries, and that's going to be important to continue to have balance within this offense.
Here you go, 32. I'm under. Okay. Hey.
Blitz, and Clausen got hit. The incompletion to make it 3rd down and goal.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete forward pass. 3rd down.
Take another look as everybody was coming on a blitz.
It looked like, yep. And Ndamukong Suh, he was able to get in on Clausen and get a hold of that right arm just as he's trying to cut it loose.
Now 3rd and goal. Quick snap this time. Forte, nothing. 4th down again.
Well, I like Mark Trestman's decision earlier to go for it on 4th down. You look at where the Bears are in the season. I think I'd settle for the field goal, but Mark Trestman has already made his mind up. He's going for it.
Extra offensive lineman is Eben Britton as the Bears look for their 2nd conversion on 4th down of this drive.
I'd expect to see Jimmy Clausen get out on the edge, try to get away from some of that pressure and buy some time and get a guy open.
Kind of a late snap. Clausen in trouble. He's broken up. Play made by Slay. And the defense for Detroit holds. And it was Eben Britton, the extra offensive lineman, who was the intended target. There's a flag on the play. We'll get the
Pass
call.
interference. Offense, number 83. That penalty is declined. Result of the play will be first down, Detroit. Timeout.
Martellus Bennett not happy with the call either way as they tried to throw it to Britton, the offensive lineman. Incomplete. Detroit takes over. That's the call against Bennett. 7-0.
During the commercial break, there was an unsportsmanlike conduct foul called on number 83 of Chicago. That 15-yard penalty was assessed from the end of the play. It'll be first and 10, Detroit.
And you'll see Dino Paganelli, who's the back judge. He throws his hat because he's the guy that threw the flag for offensive pass interference. That's where Bennett went. And so that will get the ball out of the shadow of the end zone. The drive starts at the 17. Stafford rolling right to the sideline, broken up. Good coverage by the rookie Fuller on Calvin Johnson.
Well, here's that fourth down play, and Jason Jones, number 91, does a good job of getting pressure up the field. Ashley Palmer does as well, and because of that, it allows Clausen, or doesn't allow him to then get on the corner. He tries throwing one up. I think it was a good call by the officials on Martellus Bennett, and a costly penalty on the unsportsmanlike conduct. As you said, Joe, if you don't make it, you got them backed up on the 2-yard line. Instead, they get the ball on the 17. It's a big difference.
Now 2nd and 10. Pass caught. Calvin Johnson diving grab. Fuller in coverage again, and good for 12.
Yeah, I think Calvin Johnson is just really warming up, you know, today. When you think back to the last time they played, he had 11 receptions, almost 150 yards. And if you're going to come up and play one-on-one, as the Bears have, he's going to get a lot of opportunities, and even the press isn't going to disrupt what the Lions are capable of doing.
Joique Bell in the lineup now as Stafford is chased. He threw it at the feet of his fullback, but a late flag comes in. Jed Collins, the fullback, was in that area, and maybe it's a flag for something else.
Well, it did come in late, Joe. I'm not sure exactly what it was.
And it's for an ineligible man downfield. It's against Detroit.
Ineligible man downfield offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
The rookie is now starting at right tackle, Cornelius Lucas. So now first down at 15. There's old Dominic Raiola right in the middle of it, the center. 14th year. Stafford's got a man. That man's named Johnson. And he's got a first down across the 45. And they better figure out something else for the coverage of Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, well, they've got safety in the middle of the field, so it's a true one-on-one look, and that's just hard. It's hard on anybody to try to cover Calvin Johnson, let alone a rookie. But they've got to be able to give some safety help. The problem is when you start giving help to one side, you really expose the other, and then you lighten the load in your run defense. That's not what the Bears want to do.
Here's Joique Bell. Let's go for a game break and check in with Joel Klatt.
All right, down to Tampa Bay we go. Green Bay off and running thanks to their running back, Eddie Lacy. 44 yards. The scamper puts them up 7-0. Of course, a Green Bay win and Detroit win sets up a game for all the marbles in the North next week in Lambeau. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
All right, Joel. And that game could be right here on Fox. The schedule up in the air for Week 17. 2nd and 6. Stafford is in trouble, and down he goes. Knocked to the ground by David Bass. And Stafford just held on to it too long.
Well, he's trying to get the ball to Calvin Johnson, but they give safety help then to Fuller. Here's Calvin Johnson at the bottom of the screen, and as Matthew Stafford steps up in the pocket, he's thinking he's going to get a shot down the field. No way, with the safety playing over the top of that look, and then the Chicago Bears are able to get to him. So good job defensively by defensive coordinator Mel Tucker, giving his young corner some help on that play.
Lucky they didn't get a call for a hit to the head, the helmet of the quarterback. Now 3rd and 10. And this one against Chicago.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 69 was in the neutral zone, causing the offense to false start. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
This Bears defense is last in the league in points allowed. 2nd highest in franchise history, which was set last year. So over the offseason, they added players to fortify this defense, thinking they had the offense figured out. And neither side has been what they hoped. 3rd down and 5 now. Stafford is going to get hit as he throws it. He's got Tate down inside the 20, and a good throw under pressure from Matthew Stafford.
Well, you're not kidding. Matthew Stafford, he really gets blown up at the end of this play. He's trying to buy some time, and in doing so, he steps up into the pocket, but he steps right into where the hit is coming from, and he's able to deliver the ball. Looked like pretty good coverage from here, Joe, with Tim Jennings on Tate. He's just able to go up and make a play on that ball.
You see Stafford's already working with a bloody nose in this game. Golden Tate. He's got 2 catches today, 93 on the season. What an addition.
You kind of wonder where they would be without him. He's been the one constant all year.
Stafford has to pull it down, and now he goes down. A sack, and in the arms of Christian Jones. And the 3rd sack for the Bears defense.
Well, it's the tight coverage on the outside keeps Matthew Stafford from feeling comfortable getting the ball out on time, and what we've seen is when he's had to clutch it in the pocket, the pass rush has been able to get there and get some hits on him. He got the completion to Golden Tate. This time they get to him.
Ready! No play! No play! Ready! Ready!
Stafford out to his left, end zone, a wobbler, and he's picked off by Brock Vereen. That came out ugly, out of the hand of Stafford into heavy coverage, and the rookie Brock Vereen with his first interception in the NFL.
Today's game is sponsored by Pepsi. Pepsi hyped for halftime, the official sponsor of the Pepsi Super Bowl 49 halftime show. By Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. And by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did.
Matthew Stafford, it had been a while. First interception in over 125 pass attempts. But it gives the Bears the ball at the 20, and now they've got the ball back near their 17. As Fluellen makes the play for Detroit. Let's go back to the interception.
Yeah, you got brother on brother. Corey Fuller trying to get open against his brother Kyle Fuller, and Kyle Fuller does an excellent job in coverage. Matthew Stafford initially was trying to get the ball inside to Calvin Johnson, and you see Kyle Fuller let him have it. You can only imagine how many times those two paired off against each other growing up out in the backyard.
There's another brother, Vincent Fuller, who played safety for Detroit. All of them went to Virginia Tech. But the talent in that family. 2nd and 13, good throw. And Jeffrey just couldn't grab it. We've seen some good throws now from Clausen.
Yeah, he showed some pretty good poise in the pocket, getting it out. Has an opportunity, and when you're playing with a young guy who hasn't had a start in 3 years. You just got to be able to make those plays, and Alshon Jeffrey certainly knows it.
Third drop for Chicago.
Going back to that interception, that's the one thing that the Lions have really done a good job of this year. It hurt them so much in years past with the interceptions and the turnovers, and it's something that Jim Caldwell started preaching from day one, and we showed that graphic. Matthew Stafford's done an excellent job of protecting the football, but that was not a good decision right from the start.
On 3rd and 13, Clausen going to step up and throw it incomplete over the middle for Jeffrey. And after just the 17th giveaway by the Lions this season, they're on a pace for the fewest in franchise history. It's 3 and out for the Chicago offense, and a punt coming from the rookie Patrick O'Donnell.
Well, this defense, we've seen him give up points in other games early and then tighten up. They did it, as I said last week. It happened again against Arizona. But this defense, when an offense is kind of having some inconsistencies, they've held up.
They're not going to throw a flag as O'Donnell ended up on the ground. Here is Ross. Good return. Out across the 45. Bears have had 4 possessions, have had 3 3-and-outs, and after a 15-yard return, Lions have it right back, up 7. Jay Cutler in the jacket, trying to help out Jimmy Clausen, who's made some good throws. He's had 3 drops on the other end of some of those throws. And after 4 possessions, 3 3-and-outs. Meanwhile, Detroit have run 22 plays scrimmage. This is only their 5th run. Here's Reggie Bush, who has a touchdown carry in this game. The only points, picks up 5. Lions have won 11 games only 3 times in franchise history. They're going for number 11 here today in year 1 under Jim Caldwell.
Well, you mentioned it a moment ago, Joe. I mean, these Lions fans that are at home watching this game, it's been an exciting year. It's been an up and down year. And if they're able to take care of business, what an exciting time for this organization and all these faithful fans over the years to be playing for the division.
Stafford going to end up moving left, throwing, and he's got Calvin Johnson, who dots the I as he heads out of bounds with another big play of 16 yards.
Yeah, you see the matchup again, and maybe a little bit of a push-off by Calvin Johnson on Kyle Fuller to be able to come back out and work the sidelines. Matthew Stafford buys some time and delivers a good ball.
5 catches, 77 yards for Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, like I said, I think he's just warming up. You know, they've got to give him some help. I know that the press coverage in this game as opposed to the off coverage will help some, but one-on-one against him isn't going to do it.
Stafford, that ball might have been tipped. Coming through the line of scrimmage, and it ends up through the hands of Calvin Johnson, who's over 1,000 yards again, 5th straight season. Ring in the new year on Fox Sports 1 as we bring you a marathon of Big East basketball featuring all 10 teams back to back to back to back to back to back to back. All begins at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, goes all the way to midnight, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Villanova with a huge comeback win over Syracuse yesterday. Here's Bush. A lot of room to run, and Reggie Bush is going to be down inside the 20. With 5.5 to go in the first half, a carry of 16 yards.
Well, this is encouraging, seeing what Reggie Bush is able to do. Larry Warford, the right guard, is able to pull around, and you see the hole that Reggie Bush has. It's an excellent job. Eric Ebron, the rookie tight end, he's involved in the blocking up the field as well. Reggie Bush has looked good. He's shown some quickness. He's been able to get on the edge. Got some speed. That's a good sign for the Detroit Lions.
They're the numbers this quarter. Dominated by the Lions. They did have the pick in the end zone. Here's Bell. Nowhere to go, lost the ball. And it looked like he got right back on top of it. He did, a loss of 1.
It looked like he had a good bounce, came right back into his hands, and able to keep from turning the ball over. Joique Bell, who's been relied on heavily throughout this year, also with Reggie Bush missing a number of games and dealing with the injury. He's been forced to be the workhorse for this offense.
You can see the play was made by Paya. He knocked it out, but Bell got right back on it. 2nd and 11.
Well, Paya really has had an outstanding season. Big part of it, he's been healthy.
Stafford throws behind Calvin Johnson. The rookie right there with him. Now 3rd and 11. And Kyle Fuller says, keep coming at me, man.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah, you got to believe that he got hydrated throughout the week and got as much rest as possible when he knew that he was going to have the assignment once again on Calvin Johnson, and he's been targeted an awful lot here in this first half.
Third down. Pass is picked. Second interception thrown by Stafford, and it's Ryan Mundy who gets his 4th of the season. And again, with the Lions knocking on the door, the first one in the end zone. This one picked by Mundy, just short of it. Chicago with the ball, down 7.
Today's game is sponsored by Beats by Dre Solo 2. Show us your solo selfie.
Well, the Lions have added 4 times, all 4 times into Bears territory. Detroit 2 red zone interceptions.
Yeah, the first one was a bad decision by Matthew Stafford. This time, Stafford really thought Golden Tate was going to stay on the move. He pulled up. It gave the lane then to Mundy to come in and get the interception.
4-man rush. Pass caught by Bennett. He gets popped and stays on his feet. Good tough run by Martellus Bennett out to the 11, a gain of 9.
Martellus Bennett, who's having a career year catching the football, shows some ability to stay on his feet and get some pretty good yards after the catch. And yeah, elbows down there, so we'll see whether or not that's going to be a challenge. Doesn't appear Jim Caldwell's going to.
Now he just got it out. Nobody saw it until after the snap. And Jim Caldwell used the old...
Prior to the snap, Detroit has thrown their challenge flag.
I mean, he used all of his arm strength to get it out there right before the snap. And this elbow is down right there after being contacted by the corner.
Detroit is challenging that they believe that the receiver, after possessing the ball, was down by contact. Timeout.
Well, 1 for 2 as Caldwell just showed off the old arm. Hummed it out there, and a Lions challenge in Chicago.
After review, the ruling on the field was overturned. The receiver did possess the ball, but was down when his forearm and elbow landed at the 1.5-yard line. It will be 2nd down, ball placed at the 1.5-yard line. Detroit will not be charged with a timeout.
So a good challenge, and now 2 for 3 this season is Jim Caldwell.
And don't you think, Joe, there's got to be a better way to challenge a call? I mean, we've got surface tablets on the sidelines for these coaches and players. We've got the yellow line for first downs. We're still throwing red hankies out there to tell the official that we're challenging a call.
Kind of ridiculous.
Makes no sense.
Timeout taken by Chicago.
I mean, Caldwell may have blown out his rotator cuff trying to get that one out there in time.
Well, we really haven't gotten into the whole situation with regard to Jay Cutler, and we hope to here at some point. There's Jim Caldwell, and I think as you look at what he's been able to do, Troy, you have to be really impressed with the message, and it's been sent loud and clear. First of all, about the takeaways and the giveaways, that has completely switched from a year ago.
Yeah, you know, that's been a big part of why they've been able to have their success. But I know in covering the Detroit Lions early in the season, talking with the players and just the whole culture that he's been able to establish in Detroit, there's real consistency, has a calming influence over these guys. They like the way they're treated, and they've been able to battle through some tough times.
Clausen is going to get rid of it. Looked like the knee was close to being down as he completes it to Forte for a little breathing room, and we'll take a look. This knee almost went down in the end zone, and he stayed up, which would have been a safety, obviously. Instead, a gain of 6 to Forte.
Yeah, what a job by Jimmy Clausen. I tell you, that's a How about Ziggy Ansah? He's the one who's able to get the pressure. Looks like it was Jermon Bush. He went right over the top of and just buried him into the ground.
Now 3rd down and 4.
Blue, special.
Clausen fires, and Jeffrey with another drop. And Clausen's going to need some help. Alshon Jeffrey, as a flag is thrown on the near sideline, the indication is against Detroit, but that's 4 drops now by these Chicago receivers in less than a half.
Yeah, and a couple by Alshon Jeffrey.
Hands to the face. Defense, number 26, 5-yard penalty, automatic. 1st down.
That's Don Carey. And a 1st down for Chicago by penalty.
There was a hold right there in the slot, and so the Bears are able to keep this drive alive. But you said it, Joe, that the guys around Jimmy Clausen, they've got to be able to start making some of the plays that they've not made for him.
On 1st down, handoff Forte, a little room there, and Matt Forte out to the 20, gain 7. Chicago has 2 timeouts as we approach the 2-minute warning in what is only a 7-point game here at Soldier Field.
Yeah, so the Bears, they miss out on an opportunity to at least come away with 3 points on the one drive that they got down to the 2-yard line. But the Lions, who have had opportunities to get points, and then 2 red zone interceptions by Stafford.
Good play. That's Ansah. A gain of 1 on the carry by Forte, and we are at the 2-minute warning at Soldier Field. Bears have it down 7. Follow your favorite all season long, your favorite team, just by going to iTunes.com/NFL. 4 drops.
59.
Clausen has had to suffer through 8 for 15, now 3rd and 2.
59, Mike.
You don't convert here, Detroit's going to have another chance for points. There's a conversion to Forte. Good protection for Clausen. And Forte over the middle, good for 10 and a 1st down. And now they got to hurry it up. Remember, Clausen didn't get a chance to practice on Wednesday, so he's working on a short week after a Monday night game here against New Orleans. Running the 2-minute offense, and that will at least stop the clock with 1:33 left, 2nd and 10.
Well, I thought on 3rd down, Joe, he did an excellent job of not trying to get the ball down the field, knowing that he just needed 2 yards to pick up the 1st down. He checks it down right away. They get the 1st down, and this is a guy who got no reps during the year with the #1 offense. That's the way it is typically for a backup around the league. Alshon Jeffrey's the guy who he has thrown the least amount of balls to coming into this ball game. But as we have talked about, I really think he's done a nice job here in the first 30 minutes of executing the game plan.
Jeffrey has 3 of the 4 drops. This one is caught on the sideline by Morgan. And Josh, a gain of 4. 3rd down coming up.
The other thing that struck me, Joe, in visiting with Jimmy Clausen when he walked into our room on Friday, he looks like he still could be at Oaks Christian High School. I mean, he's a young look. He looked like he was about 17 years old.
He is a baby-faced kid who's about to get married. His fiancee Jess is here. She was headed to Hawaii for the holiday to be with her dad and brother, but she was diverted to Chicago to watch Jimmy make the start. And on 3rd down, she watches Jimmy make a completion to Alshon Jeffrey. And a good throw that carries Jeffrey after the run 18 yards into Detroit territory.
You watch Jimmy Clausen. He hits his 5th step, ball's out on time, knows where to go with the ball.
Now going to air it out. Jeffrey downfield. There's no flag. And that looked like there was contact before the ball got there by Slay.
It looked like Darius Slay may have knocked Jeffrey off his line right there with the left arm. I was a little surprised too. I thought there was going to be a call on a flag, and then at the end of the play as well, you see there's plenty of contact down the field.
That was a perfect ball by Clausen, and without that little tug I think Jeffrey is celebrating a touchdown.
Yeah, I do too. And what I like is that Clausen got the ball out in a hurry before Alshon Jeffrey even got his head around.
Here's a screen to Forte. Levy forces him out of bounds. Let's go back to the end of that play. That to me is a missed pass interference call.
Yeah, all the way, Joe. The right arm is on the back of the shoulder pads. The left arm, there was contact even before the end of this play. Darius Slay got away with one.
Now 3rd and long. Third down and 11. 53 ticks left in the first half. Clausen, sideline pass caught, and this may give Trestman the opportunity to go for it on 4th down. That completion, and Chicago takes a timeout.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they don't go for it here on 4th down. That was really a nice job by Marquise Wilson, driving back to the ball, something he didn't do earlier in this half. That was a contested throw, and yet he was able to make a good, strong catch.
It's funny how 7-8 yards makes that big of a difference, but I think if they don't complete the ball and you're snapping it on 4th down back at the 47, you're punting it and saying it's a 7-0 game you hope at the half. Here, with a record of 5-9, 4th and 3 at the 40, why not?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they go for it if it was 4th and long, but right now at 4th and 3, no doubt.
Visa halftime is coming up.
59.
It's 4th and 8, and we'll see.
Ball start. Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And we'll see if the punt team comes on, and they are. So
that validated, I guess, what we said. There's Ola. He moves, and it's really good thinking by Jimmy Clausen. I'm sure he got in the huddle and said, now look, we're going to use the hard count, hang in there, and Ola just not able to do it, but good thinking by Jimmy Clausen, trying to pick one up the easy way. Instead, they don't get an opportunity to even snap the ball.
I think Clausen's had a good first half after looking a little shaky early. He's made good throws.
Yeah, he hasn't looked overwhelmed one bit.
Ross. That hit it. Live ball. Bears have it at the 10. McManus on the recovery. Ross just got too close.
He was going to field it, and then he decided not to. And once that happened, it was just a matter of where the ball was going to bounce. And why he hesitated, I'm not exactly sure. But a great opportunity now for Chicago.
By receiving team player number 12, and then recovered by the kicking team. 1st down, Chicago.
Well, the penalty by Ola actually works to the advantage of the Bears. Now, with 36 seconds left, Mark Trestman's team has a timeout and the ball at the 11.
Oh, we're good. Right there. Hey, hurry.
Blitz. Forte. What a throw. Touchdown.
Unbelievable poise by Jimmy Clausen. He comes out, looks like DeAndre Levy. He's got to be in coverage. Somebody has to be in man coverage on the back, coming out of the backfield. But Clausen lays it beautifully. It's an outstanding throw to Matt Forte for the touchdown.
Wow, that was impressive. I mean, for a guy who has barely worked with the first stringers, we've seen Clausen changing plays at the line, calling out protections, making good throws downfield, and this little floater for the 11-yard touchdown. Tie game, Chicago. Dickens novels you were supposed to read in high school. Graphically detailing the season for the Lions and the Bears. Some life around here. 7-7 game. The Lions with 3 miscues. A big part of that. Now back just outside the 10. It's Wynn. The 2 red zone interceptions thrown by Stafford. Then the play by Ross on the punt that hit him on the bounce. And Boston. That's always a good move, Troy, is to go tell your offensive line good job.
Yeah, they like that. They don't ask for much. They just want to be appreciated. And you see him talking to Ola after the penalty that forced them to punt. But right now there's got to be some concern for the Detroit Lions coming into this game, and the way that they dominated the Bears after they got behind on Thanksgiving. I think they viewed this as a bit of a tune-up, but they have not looked good. Special teams gaff, the turnovers offensively, not good.
3 timeouts left, so they can work the middle of the field as Riddick makes the catch, and a timeout will be taken. And that gives us a chance to check in with Kurt Menefee and hear what's coming up at the half.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, we'll check in on all the teams fighting for a playoff spot. The Panthers want to keep their division hopes alive against the Browns. The Texans are still fighting for a wild card spot against the Ravens. The Steelers and Chiefs lock up in a wild card battle as well. We'll see you at the half.
Yeah, obviously for Detroit, there's still an outside shot. They could be a #1 seed, but I think it's realistic, thinking of what's in front of them, that they control their destiny for potential first-round bye in a home playoff game.
Keep it there. Keep it there.
First down. Stafford to the sideline. Out of bounds is Riddick.
Well, obviously, Joe, the Lions came into this game with great confidence with all that's happened here in Chicago. And again, the way that they played against them the last time they met, change at quarterback. But you still got to come out and execute, and you got to play well. And that happened last night in that game with the Eagles and the Redskins. You know, the Eagles have an opportunity to stay alive within the division, and now the Cowboys playing this afternoon have a chance to wrap it up if they're able to win. I don't think anybody expected Washington to be able to beat Philadelphia in that ballgame.
Keep it there. Keep it there. Bonus.
No gain for Riddick, so 2nd and 10. 2 timeouts left. Stafford is going to go down, and down in the arms of Ratliff. And that'll do it for half #1. Turnover's a big part of it. Detroit had limited that. They came in +8. They are -3 in this game, including 2 red zone interceptions, and with that, and the play of Clausen, a 7-7 game at the half. Let's go to Kurt and the guys in LA. Visa Halftime right now. Lions will get the ball to start this second half here in Chicago. 7-7 game. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan, and some excitement brought to these fans here at Soldier Field by Jimmy Clausen, getting his first start in almost 4 years. The numbers don't really blow you away, but it's the presence on the field, some of the exhibitions of leadership that he's shown, and he has really, I think, been poised under some pressure here from this Lions defense.
Yeah, and it's not like he's not playing against a really great defensive unit. #2 defense in all of football, the Detroit Lions. And as I said, Trestman has called a good game. He's had some balance, haven't gotten a lot out of the running game, but just enough to help out the quarterback.
This is an ugly kickoff that will end up returned out across the 30 by Wynn. And as we begin this second half, we send it down to Erin Andrews.
Well, Mark Trestman agrees with you. Very happy with Jimmy Clausen's performance. Said he was very calm, happy with the way he settled down. He also said, we can move the ball against these guys. Now let's just get it in the end zone. As for Jim Caldwell, he told me they should be down by 21 points. He said you can't turn the ball over 3 times in a half and even be in this thing. He said we've taken dumb penalties, made poor decisions. I said, Coach, you're the king of famous quotes and sayings. Did you stress anything? And he said, yeah, fundamentals.
Well, let's see how they start this second half, Aaron, as the handoff is to Reggie Bush. And he drew a crowd. Jeremiah Ratliff was the first one in there at the bottom of that pile, a gain of 7.
Well, you go back, Joe, and you take a look at the 2 interceptions that Stafford threw in the red zone. This was just a very poor decision to the middle of the field when you're rolling out to your left. This second interception, as I said, not so much on Stafford, just a miscommunication. He's expecting Golden Tate to do one thing, Tate does the other. And when you get down in those tight spaces, that's the difference in a completion and an interception.
See what he's done the last 3. And then today. Quick throw, pass caught. Golden Tate's got a first down at the 45. As we talked about, you said Jim Caldwell stressed limiting the turnovers. Last year, the Lions were -12 in the turnover ratio into today, +8. So a huge turnaround, but not good today. And Calvin Johnson, as he was out there blocking for Tate, he got hit from behind by Golden Tate, and he limps off the field.
You see that right foot kind of gets stepped on. You always worry about that when you're blocking as a wide receiver and a runner is coming up from behind and gets rolled up on your legs. And Calvin Johnson's been dealing with those types of things all year.
Here's Bell on first down. Joique Bell. Good play made coming up from the secondary. Demontre Hurst, gain of 2.
Got to follow up with what you said about Jim Caldwell and the turnovers and the turnover ratios. He said the goal coming into the season was to be a +4, and they're above that right now. But as you look at this particular game, that's been the difference. And right now it's 7-7. I believe that he does have to be pleased that it's a tie ball game, although unhappy with the play.
Calvin Johnson missed 3 games with a sprained ankle. On the sideline, stretching it out. 2nd and 8. Pass is into the ground as Stafford got hit when he let it go. Corey Fuller, the intended target. 3rd and 8 coming up.
And Stafford under pressure once again in the pocket as you see Calvin Johnson coming back in, and there's what Stafford has been dealing with. Settle in as the game wore on. We'll see whether or not the protection gets better for Stafford as we move through this second half.
Blitz. Stafford flushed out to his left. Got a man. Bush. And Reggie Bush, about as good a check down back as you can find in the league when healthy, has got 15 yards and a first down.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford knows that they're bringing some pressure and buys some time, delivers a good ball moving to his left to Reggie Bush. And that right now to me, Joe, is one of the best things to come out of this first half has been Reggie Bush and the things that he's been able to do. It's his 3rd game back since he missed some time, but he looks good in this game.
Willie Young is injured, needing help getting off the field. The former Lions having a good year. We'll take a break.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Burger King. Mix and match 2 large premium sandwiches for just $5 only at Burger King. By Sprint. And by Taken 3. It all ends here, January 9th, only in theaters.
Chicago-style hot dog. And here's the injury. Another defensive injury for the Bears, and it's Willie Young. At 9.5 sacks, and that turf gave way under the left foot of Young. Here's wide open Ross. And he's got a nice catch for 11 yards and a first down.
And when you look at this injury, Joe, and the way that he came off the ball without any contact, it looks like it could be an Achilles tendon type injury, and those are difficult to come back from for a guy who's really been outstanding. I know in visiting with Jared Allen, you know, he's been very impressed with the job that Willie Young has done. He was a rotational guy early in the year, and then when Lamar Houston went down, he became a full-time starter, has played great. It's unfortunate.
Here's Bell. Pushing it down inside the 25 in this tie game. Picked up 4.
Well, it's a good drive right here for Detroit to take this opening possession here in the second half. It was not a good first half for this offense and the way that they turned the ball over, but this is a nice drive that they're having now.
2nd round pick Ego Ferguson is down. Played at LSU. Will Sutton, a 3rd round pick, a rookie out of Arizona State, not active for this game. He is sick, so they are thin defensively. The playoff picture And this could shift dramatically at the end of the late game between Arizona and Seattle. Seattle can not only take over Arizona with a tiebreaker in the NFC West, but Seattle's got a good shot at the #1 seed overall. They finished the season at home against the St. Louis Rams. There's Green Bay, there's Detroit. You see the stress on a game like this, tied with
happen with seeding here in whatever happens today, next weekend. Everybody wants home field advantage throughout, and if you're not going to get it, then you start looking at, okay, well, where exactly do you want to go play? And we saw Dallas beat Seattle at Seattle earlier in the year, but it was a different Seattle team than the one we're seeing now.
Watch number 95 there, the rookie. We'll see what happened to him. No, he got stepped on outside of the right ankle at the end of the play.
You know, you look at this group of young players that they drafted, Joe. 4 of their first 5 draft picks were on defensive players to try to shore it up. Ego Ferguson has really come along as the season has gone. And you mentioned Will Sutton. I was real impressed with what I saw him last week. He's not in uniform today. He came down with some kind of illness here in the last couple of days, but we're hoping those young players can develop into some solid guys and get this defense back to the form that we once knew.
Here's Bell on 2nd and 6. By the way, Aaron Andrews confirming from down on the field that it is an Achilles injury for Willie Young. So that's bad news for Willie Young for the Bears, as he was really making a name for himself here out on the edge defensively for Chicago.
Yeah, I mentioned the conversation with Jared Allen, and what he said was, you know, he really believes that he's a guy who can be a 10-sack type player for, you know, years to come. He has that type of ability, and he's really grown as this season has gone along, and a guy who played for the Detroit Lions last year.
Tate in the backfield on 3rd and 3. Stafford looking his way and incomplete, as Tate did not get his head around fast enough to see the pass. Hurst was there in coverage.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford wanting to get the ball to him right away, and Golden Tate, you know, he held it, waiting for Tate to.
Five stalls, and we'll have a 39-yard try by Matt Prater, kicker number 3 on the season for the Lions. Nate Freeze went 3 for 7. Alex Henry 1 for 5, and now Prater 19 for 23. Good snap, good hold, good kick, and a lead for the Lions at 10-7. With over 10 to go, 3rd quarter here in Chicago, and what's turned out to be a good game. Lions lead by 3, 10:24 left, 3rd quarter. And there's the drive that ended on the 39-yarder by Matt Prater. Show you in a little bit more detail how Ego Ferguson, the rookie defensive tackle for Chicago, got hurt a moment ago. Not a great picture, and won't speak well for Dominic Raiola. Drive to the Bears, down 3, will start at the 20. So we saw the foot come in on Ferguson, number 95, laying there, and watch Raiola. Steps right on the outside of the right leg and ankle. That is just flat out wrong.
Yep, uncalled for. He'll be getting fined. There's no place in it for the game, and unnecessary.
Terrible. Let's go down to Aaron Andrews.
Just to add on that, Joe, Ego Ferguson has been taped up and told everyone on the sidelines, I'm fine, I'm coming in. He's also explained the incident to about 4 or 5 guys over here on the Bears side.
Thanks, Aaron. Starting at the 20, down by 3. Here's Forte. Nice gain of 5 to start the drive. Brought down by Bynes. So what are we seeing here, Troy, from Jimmy Clausen? It's looked good, and I would imagine to some degree it's looked like what Trestman has wanted with a ball coming out on time from his quarterback.
Yeah, for those at home, I mean, this offense, I believe, is very quarterback friendly, and it's not real difficult. You go through a progression, 1, 2, 3, go to your check down, get the ball out. You're not supposed to be back in the pocket holding it, and he has not done that.
So you go to the mistakes by Cutler, whose 24 turnovers were the most in the NFL, again benched during the week. First time he's been benched, and a guy that was rewarded with a 7-year contract to be the franchise quarterback, and here he is, Troy, benched in week 16.
Well, I know Mark Trestman said it was performance-based, Joe, but I think if you had handed a big contract to Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, name a guy, you would not be benching a guy at any point during the season regardless of performance, because you're anticipating that, hey, this is going to be the week that the guy plays at the level that we expected when we signed him to the big deal. So I think it goes way beyond performance and is real reflective of whatever Jay Cutler is or isn't as a leader or someone who inspires the play of those around him.
57. Set.
Clausen picked up the first down.
Yellow hot. Yeah, we got him. Wait. 45 miles. Hey, 57. Hey, set.
Here's Forte, good play. Big hit made, but good run. That's Jones who made the hit, and then he went on a 3-yard ride on the back of Matt Forte.
And Matt Forte, I know that he is so highly regarded within this organization, and Mark Trestman, when I asked him about him and how he has done this year, he's been an excellent player for a number of years for this franchise, said that he has not flinched, that he has been the consummate professional. He shows up every day. In fact, he told the team this week that the way that Matt Forte has practiced this week and every week during the season, he hoped that the others would come out and play to the level that this guy does each week.
Here's Jeffrey. And the big-bodied Alshon Jeffrey, all 6'3", 216. Picks up 9 and a first down.
You know, it does look like a different offense, though, doesn't it? I mean, watch that Monday night game against New Orleans, against a very poor defensive team in the New Orleans Saints, and they couldn't do anything. They couldn't get lined up. They couldn't execute simple passes. And now against the league's #2 defense, it hasn't been spectacular, but Clausen has done a nice job.
Fast.
Quick delivery by Jimmy Clausen.
Yeah, Marquise Wilson on the quick slant. You got to get the ball out. You're dependent on the receiver to win on the route. He gets inside technique. And a well-thrown ball.
Again, you go back to what Josh McCown did last year, taking over for Cutler. He got a 2-year, $10 million deal out of the play. And the Mark Trestman offense. A chance for Forte on first down as he picks up about 8, maybe 9, and a second and short coming up. But it's easy to pile on Trestman. He's not the kind of a head coach who's going to come in and flip the podium in the post-game press conference. Mild-mannered guy, a gentleman. And I'm sure his frustration is at an all-time high, knowing what the offense and the weaponry here is capable of doing and what they've done turning the ball over. He's getting good play out of Clausen. Here's Jeffrey. First down inside the 30. And Clausen is gaining confidence, took a hit, but he is really comfortable right now.
You know, Forte, he just sees it late, and that guy's supposed to be picked up. Forte on Monday night, there was some miscommunication up front, got Cutler hit a couple times in that game, and Forte, who does a nice job in pass protection, made a mistake there and got his quarterback hit.
Not sacked yet, though, despite the rookie guards in there. The injury to Long.
Hey, white. 57. We got 57. 39 cross.
Toss to Forte, well played up front. Bynes came in, a loss of 4.
I'm watching this Detroit defense, Joe, and they're slow to get back to the ball and just not playing with the kind of energy that I'm used to seeing from this group. I mean, we talked about it coming in as far as as good as this year has been for Detroit and what may lay ahead next week, you know, what was going to happen in this game. And I don't think they were anticipating that it'd be a 10-7 ball game here almost through the third quarter.
2nd and 14. Clausen's in trouble. Penalty flag on the play. And Clausen brought down back at the 40 by Ndamukong Suh. But a flag was thrown. It's against Chicago for a holding.
Offense number 22. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Well, Ndamukong Suh, they've got Michael Ola, the right guard, and then Matt Forte to help try to secure anything inside, any pressure they may get. And both guys just whiff on him. And, of course, no chance when Forte's then the only guy who's going to be able to slow number 90 down before he's able to get to the quarterback.
A loss of 9 knocks Chicago out of field goal range. And remember, Robbie Gould missing his 3rd straight game, one of the league's best kickers with a quad injury. And so Jay Feely is the kicker. They need to bite off some of the yardage here on 3rd and 23 for the field goal.
George.
Sideline, Wilson drops it. Perfect throw, and Wilson had it and lost it. That's 5 drops now by the Chicago receivers, and this is about as good a throw as you can make.
Well, watch when the ball is cut loose. The receiver's on the right side of the screen, and he has not even got to the top of the route yet. And Jimmy Clausen cuts it loose. That's a perfectly thrown ball to Marquise Wilson, and just another drop, as you said, that hurts this team.
End over end punt. They're going to throw a flag as O'Donnell was hit. Julian Sanford came in, and we'll see what the call is. Is it 5 or 15?
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense number 36. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. 1st down.
Well, that's big. Obviously, instead of running into, it's roughing, and another dumb penalty. And there's Stanford. Pretty good sell job by O'Donnell. And Tressman's team's got a 1st down, and I say dumb penalty because that's what Jim Caldwell told Aaron Andrews at the half, that his team is guilty of all day.
He takes out the kicking leg. It's a 15-yard penalty and keeps this drive alive. And as you said, another special teams mistake that's cost the team.
57, orange.
Pretty good sell job by O'Donnell.
Hurry, set.
So a 1st down at the 24.
Hurry, set.
Forte gets it. They've stuck with the run to the 21, a gain of 3, brought down by Ihedebo. It's really interesting to watch this unfold with Cutler on the sideline and Jimmy Clausen. I mean, a guy who hasn't started a game in almost 4 years, and the confidence he has at the line, calling out protections. I mean, he looks like he's been doing this all year.
You know, he sure seemed like a real confident guy on Friday, and he's gotten better as this game's gone along.
He's got one for Rosario, and a good play is made by the safety Ihedebo. 3rd and 7 coming up, and what a good piece of work by number 32.
It really was, because Roberto Garza, the center, he was the one who came out. If he was able to make that block, it looked like Rosario might be able to make something happen, but Ihedebo was able to dodge that block and make an open field tackle.
This will be the 14th play of the drive. 3rd and 7.
54. Mike 4. Mike right. Hurry. Set.
Clausen to the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. Alshon Jeffrey.
Double move on the outside, but Alshon Jeffrey freezes Darius Slay just enough to where he's able to get a step on the corner, and Clausen gets it out there just enough for Jeffrey to be able to go up and make a play without Slay getting his head turned around.
So Clausen's got 2 touchdown throws in this game. Had a record of 1-9 as a rookie in 2010. Second-round pick for Carolina. And he and the Bears lead by 4. Impressive drive, 14-play drive, and the Bears have the lead.
Today's game is sponsored by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with Kay.
Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide. How about this game? And how about the pressure now on Matthew Stafford and the offense for the Lions? Bears have 2 touchdowns today, both set up by Lions special teams mistakes. One on a muffed punt by Ross, the other on a penalty for a personal foul against the punter by Julian Stanford. And down by 4, the drive will start at the 20. All eyes will be on Dominic Raiola, a longtime center because of that nasty act last time the Lions had it. He and the Lions offense back to work. The center for the Lions, Dominic Raiola, in his 14th year. He's had 10 double-digit loss seasons out of 13. Chance here today for his first 11-win season. But all eyes are on him. Eagle Ferguson is back in the lineup for Chicago, who he stomped on last time the Lions had it. Here's Bell, good for 3, and we'll keep an eye on Raiola 51 and Eagle Ferguson 95 for Chicago.
Yeah, and the other part of that, Joe, is he's going to get fined, and right now you'd have to hope, if you're a Lions fan or you're the Detroit Lions, that that's all that it is, and it's not any type of 1-game suspension or whatever the league may do, but it's pretty blatant. Of course, in that New England game earlier in the year, he went after a Patriot at the very end of the game. There was no fines or anything handed down. It was in the framework, even though many believed that was a real cheap shot then.
Trying to get a screen to Riddick. He's being held by Allen, and so Stafford has to take off. 3rd down coming up as Stafford runs for 5 yards, and Riddick couldn't get away from Jared Allen.
You mentioned the pressure now really being on Matthew Stafford. I mean, this is nothing for him. He's only down 4 points and still has over a quarter to play. I mean, I remember being over there in London, as I said, they're down 21 points to the Falcons, and to watch him bring the team back, and he's been doing it all year long. Really, he's been doing it ever since he got to Detroit.
Third down and 2. Pass is caught on a juggle by Golden Tate. What a catch. Great concentration and a first down for Detroit.
Yeah, a ball that maybe was just a touch behind, but one that he could have caught right away, but he hangs with it. Was able to bring it in off the rebound and pick up that first down. Great concentration on his part. He was in the slot formation. I know in visiting with him earlier in the season, he said he did not like playing the slot formation or slot position when he was with Seattle, but he's enjoyed it here with Detroit.
Time winding down on the 3rd quarter. Bostic makes the play on Reggie Bush. And that Bears defense, you want to charge up a defense that's playing right now at 5-9, stomp on a rookie defensive lineman and see what kind of a reaction you get. They have awakened Chicago's defense.
Well, and we heard Erin Andrews' report when she said that Eagle Ferguson, he let everybody know what happened. So, yeah, you can bet that those defensive linemen will be rallying, and they're looking for payback right now.
That should be it for quarter number 3. Did you expect this? 14-10. Bears on top. 4th quarter we go. Back after this from your local Fox station. The Lions in the first year under Jim Caldwell have won games this season that they just didn't win before. You look at the second half comebacks. Minnesota, Miami, Atlanta, New Orleans. They're down here on the road in Chicago, trying to win their 4th straight against the Bears. 4th quarter begins now. Pass was tipped and almost picked after Riddick couldn't make the catch. And Monday had a chance for his second of the day.
Boy, Lions fortunate. This ball gets tipped in the middle of the field like that. Riddick unable to bring it in, and Mundy's not able to bring it in also. But Theo Riddick, he's one of those guys who I like what he's capable of doing from the backfield as a receiver. That time a pretty simple route, but it's been a tough catch.
Jared Allen got his hand on it. Now 3rd and 8. Stafford, sideline, what a catch. Calvin Johnson stays in bounds. He turned around and the ball was right in his face.
Yeah, and good pressure inside, so Matthew Stafford has to cut it loose. This is a great job coming out of the route and being able to locate the football and make the catch. This is the first catch for Calvin Johnson here in this second half after he had 5 in the first. Pretty good coverage, but an excellent job by the veteran receiver of locating the football and making a play.
Stafford now over 4,000 yards for the season. 4th straight year he's accomplished that. First Lions quarterback to get to that plateau. That one's batted down at the line. And that defensive line is charged up. Brandon Dunn got his hand up, and there's Eagle Ferguson in the middle of it with good reason.
You know, Matthew Stafford, Joe, you talk about 4,000 yards. Once again, a couple of years ago, he had 5,000 yards passing. And, you know, this year he really has embraced. It's not about the stats and the numbers. It's about wins. And he's hung in and really done a nice job.
2nd and 10, Stafford flushed. Incomplete for Collins. 3rd and 10 coming up for the Lions, down by 4. Let's go to Kurt Menefee with a game break.
Well, if either Atlanta or New Orleans win out, they win the NFC South. Who cares about the record? Atlanta's in control right now. Devontae Freeman, 31-yard touchdown run. The Saints have come back. They're inside Atlanta's 15 with 15 minutes left in regulation. Joe Troy and Eric.
Good game there, and surprising yet again for the Saints.
Hey, I can assure you that based on what I've been watching of the Saints at home, there are going to be major changes within that organization at the end of this year.
3rd and 10. Stafford just got rid of it. Joique Bell is spun down short of the first down. And now a decision coming from Detroit's sideline. Good pressure by David Bass. And we'll see if the Lions go for it here with a ball at the 33. You're looking at a 51-yard field goal try.
Well, looks like they are going to go for it. And, Joe, we've been talking about the job Jimmy Clausen's been doing offensively. How about this defense and Mel Tucker? I mean, they're shorthanded, playing with a lot of young guys. An offense that just ran through them on Thanksgiving Day. And they've held up well in this ball game and have really been good.
Things are heating up around here. And Raiola and Ferguson right in the middle of it. 4th down when we come back. 4th down and 2. Stafford's complete. Perfect throw to Golden Tate. And a first down at the 18-yard line, and Tate was well covered.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Stafford got this ball in. There is excellent coverage by Tim Jennings. And just unable to get a hand on it, but he's in a great spot to knock that one down. It's an excellent throw by Matthew Stafford.
And now back inside the red zone, where Stafford has thrown 2 picks. Here's Bell. Dragged to the ground after a gain of 2.
We talked about Joique Bell and the year that he's had. Been running the ball pretty decent here as of late, but he personally hasn't been able to get much going here in this game. Most of the yards they've gotten on the ground have been with Reggie Bush.
So now a nice drive put together by Detroit. Play number 12. Down by 4.
Well, Calvin Johnson one-on-one at the bottom of the screen.
Screen for Reggie Bush. Nowhere to go. Well played by Mel Tucker's defense. Jennings up and a loss of 3.
Well, this is an open field tackle by Tim Jennings, and very difficult to do against Reggie Bush, but he doesn't go for the fake. You see that he settles down, and as Reggie starts to give him the shoulders, he doesn't budge and just gives Bush nowhere to go, and knowing he's getting some help from the inside. Great job by Tim Jennings.
3rd and 11.
Playing coverage here. I'd expect Stafford to work the middle of the field.
He does. Pass broken up, no flag. Calvin Johnson the target. Ryan Mundy, the safety, is the one who came up and made the hit.
Not a real good route by Calvin Johnson in the middle. I think Stafford was wanting him to break that off a little bit sharper to beat the safety and make Mundy go through you with pass interference if he's going to be able to make a play on the ball, but he keeps it a little bit high. Just a difficult throw then for the quarterback.
And that was close to pass interference anyway. Mundy may have gotten there about a half second early. No flag, and now a 37-yard try by Prater. And blocked. The Bears stay away, and they stay up by 4. Jeremiah Ratliff. DeMontre Hurst, who got the hand. It's Ratliff off the left wrist. They celebrate on the Bears sideline.
This game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online. Visa, everywhere you want to be. By Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And by the new Amazon Fire TV Stick, the most powerful media streaming stick.
Look from Lake Michigan, this great city of Chicago, buzzing Christmas week. We'll show you that kick by Prater. The block by Ratliff. And now the Lions defense is going to have to play like a number 2 defense. Morgan makes the catch, but Carey made the play. And a loss of 2, back to the kick.
Yeah, Prater, he comes up to kick it, and he kicks the ground first. I'm not, that's why it came out so low. Ratliff really didn't even have to get very high. It hits him in the bicep, doesn't even hit him on the fingers, and I'm not sure that Prater even makes that kick if it's not touched. It came out funny because of, as they say, he kicked the big ball before the real ball, and that's kind of what I do on the golf course a lot.
Just a scuff job. Now 2nd and 12. Pass is caught, and somehow able to hang on after that hit is Marquise Wilson. Glover Quinn came up, and Wilson can't get up.
This was an ugly looking hit at the end of this play, Joe, as Glover Quinn comes in and hits him down low right across that right quad is what it looked like, and we'll see if Wilson's going to be okay.
Good throw by Clausen on the move. Great catch by Wilson. And he's able to get up and limp off the field.
His right foot was in the ground. Not good. Marquise Wilson has, had a up and down day here this afternoon, but he's moving around like he might be all right.
He came in with 8 catches on the season. He's got 6 today. And when you get a backup quarterback that works with some of these second string receivers in practice more, they feel better throwing to guys like Marquise Wilson, and Clausen's looked his way a lot.
Yeah, those are the guys that they're throwing to on the practice squad, when they go up against the number 1 defense.
Here's Forte. He loses a yard, and I'll say it again. The Lions have relied on this defense all year long. They're the number 2 defense in the NFL. In a game they won here on the road against a 5-9 Bears team against a backup quarterback. They have to figure it out here now.
Well, think about it. The 2 interceptions keep them from probably at least getting 6 points. They get the poor execution on the field goal there. There's another 3 points. That's 9 points. And then the special teams problems on the return and the turnover sets up the touchdown for Chicago. So a lot of mistakes that have allowed the points to be what they are.
Here's Forte on a screen. Good play. Play was made by Carey. A gain of 4, 3rd down coming up, and you get the feeling it's a big 3rd down here for this Lions defense. Special teams mistakes. A fumbled punt, that muff punt early led to a Bears touchdown. Roughing the kicker, punt, led to a Bears touchdown, and now they just had a miss-hit field goal try and a block. Bad day for the special teams of Detroit. 3rd and 7.
No eat! No eat hot! 5-4! 5-4! Hey! Set!
Clausen incomplete. Jeffrey the intended target. Some contact, no flag. Rashean Mathis in coverage.
Well, you said it, Joe. This defense needed to come up with a stop. Rashean Mathis, he takes the inside. Knowing he had safety help over the top, he's able to play it a little more aggressively. Sue once again with pressure on Clausen, getting him on the ground. But I think it was a good no call that Rashean Mathis is entitled to his position on the field too.
So the punt from O'Donnell with Ross waiting for it. Coming up to grab it on the move from just inside the 20. Out across the 25. And well covered by McManus for Chicago. Stafford, the Lions offense to the field. Down 4. Lions have it again. They've gotten into Chicago territory on 6 of their 7 possessions, but only have 10 points. Down by 4. From the 27, Reggie Bush left side. Able to hop out of bounds with a 1st down.
Yeah, it's kind of time for this Detroit offense to put together a drive and, more importantly, to finish it. Joe, you look at the job that the defense has done, and, you know, we've talked about Clausen and what he's been able to do, and I like what he's done, but still, Chicago's only got 14 points, and so the Detroit defense is doing their job, and they have lost games only giving up 14 points. Lost Arizona earlier in the season, 14-6, and right now, at this point in the game, it's time for this offense to do their part.
Number 20! Number 20!
On 1st down, play action. Stafford in trouble, able to get rid of it. He had Golden Tate. Pressure by David Bass. 2nd and 10.
David Bass is the one who's able to get upfield and keeps Stafford from really being able to settle in. He has Golden Tate to the flat. He's got an intermediate crossing route also, but that was the pressure that, and Stafford just does a good job of getting it out and not taking the sack.
Which has happened 4 times today. 2nd and 10. Low snap. Floated for Bell, out of his reach. Tonight on Fox Sports Live, don't miss an exclusive one-on-one conversation with Nick Stark, Carmelo Anthony, plus a complete update on the NFL playoff picture with Randy Moss and Donovan McNabb. That's tonight at 11 Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Hey, Joe, that last play, that's one that Matthew Stafford's going to be thinking about the rest of tonight. If they're not able to go on and win this ball game, they got a perfect look against Shea McClellan, the linebacker, and they just failed to hit it.
On 3rd down, airing it out. Fuller is interfered with by Jennings. And this will be a big pass interference call against Tim Jennings.
It's just amazing how many times defensive backs, once they're
Pass
in a trail
interference.
position,
Defense,
never
number
turn.
26, spot foul, automatic. First down.
It's an easy call. It's an unfortunate call for the Bears because of the amount of yardage that you're giving up. But when you're trailing in a ball that's slightly underthrown and receiver comes back, if you just get your head turned around like you're trying to play the ball, you got a chance. But Jennings never does.
It's a 46-yard penalty on a 3rd and 10 play. And a first down. Back into the red zone go the Lions. Tight formation, handoff to Bell. Sliding, got outside, and touchdown, Detroit. What a run by Joique Bell.
There's confusion right from the beginning. Christian Jones, the rookie linebacker, comes in late off the sidelines. They're trying to convey the defense to him. The ball snapped. They don't communicate anything, but even having said that, Joique Bell should not have been able to score on this play. The Bears were in a position to make a tackle. They failed to do so, but good job of finishing the drive, aided by the defensive pass interference on Tim Jennings.
Cornelius Washington overran it. And then the rookie safety Brock Vereen couldn't make the tackle. And it's a 17-14 game. And those points set up on that 3rd and 10 pass interference by Tim Jennings. Joique Bell carries it 17 yards. And the Lions are back on top in Chicago.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Cricket Wireless. Something to smile about.
You know that house in the suburbs of Chicago, the house from Home Alone. Here inside the house that the Chicago Bears call home. It's been a tight game, and now Detroit back on top by 3 as Martin kicks it away. Mariani will bring it out. And can't make it to the 20. So we all fell in love with the young Macaulay Culkin back in the day. Week 16 continues later with games on CBS and Fox. Seattle and Arizona, a big one for the NFC playoff picture tonight. Denver at Cincinnati on Monday night. Here's the touchdown run by Joique Bell.
Yeah, you see the guys that are in a position. By the Bears.
Here's a handoff to Forte. And with 7 minutes to go, a gain of just 2. So Jimmy Clausen is on a 1-year deal. A guy who was coming off a toe injury when he had his pro day. He ended up a 2nd-round pick by Carolina, and other than 3 little mop-up opportunities this year, he hadn't been on the field when it counted since 2010. He's opened some eyes here today.
Yeah, I mean, how do you think he felt? 1-9 as a rookie starter. As you said, they invested a 2nd-round pick in him. He struggled, as you would expect. And then a new staff came in, Ron Rivera, and they draft Cam Newton, and then out the door goes Clausen.
Here's a pass incomplete for Wilson. Good to see Wilson back in there after the knee injury, but now it's 3rd and 8.
When you're a team that is 5-9 like the Chicago Bears, and you've been hanging in there against a team that's really playing well this season and going to be in the playoffs, you got the lead, and then all of a sudden you're now playing from behind. Sometimes you just get this mindset like, you know, here we go again, and it's hard to pick up the energy level. And I'm interested in seeing if they're able to convert here on 3rd down.
Bang, bang.
Clausen. And the defense for the Lions steps up. It's 4th down. A free agent to be, and you talked about the work that he has to do being double teamed and fighting through blocks. It can pay well. Gerald McCoy got a 6-year $95 million deal down in Tampa Bay. Suh is going to cash in at the end of this season somewhere.
Yeah, well, Warren Buffett was his guest at the game last week. I'm sure he's got some ideas how to invest all that money.
It's a good friend to have. About to get $100 million. Short punt. Ross with a fair catch at the 45. And Ndamukong Suh doing his thing. Ball almost came out. Right arm of Clausen. A smile from big number 90. His Lions up 3. It's where you love to be able to run the ball. Up by 3. Ball just short of midfield as you look at the offensive leaders for the Lions. First down. 5.5 to go. Got the fullback Jed Collins in there in front of Joique Bell. Bell gets it, coming off the touchdown run, and a good start to this drive. Let's send it over to Joel Klatt with a game break.
Joe, nobody wants to win the NFC South. The Saints down by 13 at home, trying to avoid their 5th straight loss at home. This is going to help. A Jimmy Graham touchdown from 4 yards out, 20-14. Falcons still on top. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
Well, that's incredible. Considering the success, 5th straight loss if they lose that game at home.
Joel said nobody wants to win, but somebody's going to have to.
Somebody has to. It's in the rules.
Somebody has to represent the NFC South in the playoffs.
That thing is completely up for grabs. 2nd and 2.
Ready? You ready?
Bell. Good run. First down. And he will step out of bounds, which now that we're under 5 minutes will stop the clock with a 20-yard run as Christian Jones got shoved aside by Joique Bell. And you mentioned it, Joique's been running better last 3 weeks, and he's trying to add a 4th straight good week.
Yeah, he is. And the Lions overall this year, as we know, they just have been very inconsistent running the football, but we have seen them at times in these situations be able to close some games out running the football. These are nice plays that they've been able to get off with Joique Bell to pick up the first down and do it on the ground.
Lions are averaging over 6.5 yards a carry. Carried it for just under 130 yards in this game. And with that stop, after a gain of a couple, Paya made the tackle. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Right now, obviously, up to Chicago's defense to keep this a 1-score game.
Yeah, we'll kind of see what Joe Lombardi's thinking as far as, does he want to try to be aggressive? Does he want to keep it on the ground and see if he can keep getting these first downs without having to put it in the air? They'd certainly like to punctuate this drive with a touchdown and just close this game out.
Grandson of Vince Lombardi calling the plays for the Lions. Longtime assistant in New Orleans. Stay on the ground. And why not? Bell a yard short of a first down. Knocked down by Bostic, and the Bears will take their first time out.
The guy doing a good job on this drive is Jed Collins. Came with Joe Lombardi from the New Orleans Saints. He's been the lead blocker and knocking some holes open.
Well, as we welcome you inside the broadcast booth, you think about what's to come next week. It's been a while. It's been a while for the Lions getting a win at Lambeau Field or even in the state of Wisconsin, no matter what happens here today. And the Lions came in as a 10-point favorite. Right now they lead by 3. It all comes down for the division to week 17 if Green Bay wins, and they're winning right now in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, they have a great opportunity in front of them, right? I mean, there's so much that can happen that potentially they could be a #1 seed and first-round buys and a home playoff game. And so there's a lot of things that can happen here over the course of this weekend and then next week. But to be able to go to Lambeau and exercise a lot of demons, a place where they've not had much success, be quite a story for this Detroit team and Jim Caldwell and the turnaround that he has had with this team here in 2014.
They've lost 23 straight in Wisconsin. 0 for their last 20 at Lambeau. 3rd down and 1. It's Collins, the fullback, and he's going to fight for the first down. And they have had no problems keeping it on the ground, winding down the clock. Timeout Chicago, 3:35 left. We welcome in a new audience. That's us. We welcome you to Chicago. It's been a fun game to cover. First touchdown, Reggie Bush with a 13-yard carry, then a special teams mistake and a turnover led to this floating pass to Forte. Tied at 7 at the half. And then second touchdown pass from Jimmy Clausen, who's taken over for the bench. Jay Cutler to Alshon Jeffrey. But Joique Bell just took a couple of hits and spun his way into the end zone. The Lions back on top, and they have the ball and are in control now.
Well, I'll tell you, Joe, they you know, we saw last week that Jim Caldwell, he's not going to apologize for any wins, you know, and if they do win this game, they have a lot to work on before they go into Lambeau next week, because this was not very clean.
That was a false start by Collins.
Tell you the guy who's most excited.
False start. Offense, number 45. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
The guy who's most excited about this Detroit season is the great Willie Holmes.
Oh, there's no doubt. In our truck, just beaming right now is, I mean, it's been a while. 11 games. If they get the win here today, it'll be the 4th time in franchise history. And Jim Caldwell is yelling at Jed Collins, who just got him the first down for that false start.
Well, as I said, he cleared some holes for Joique Bell on those runs, and he picks up the first down, and none of it matters.
Only one timeout left for Chicago. Safe throw, but it's incomplete. 2nd and 15 coming up as we look ahead to a Week 17 matchup at Lambeau. And there are the numbers. And there's what's at stake. That bottom line, 0-23 since 91 at Wisconsin. Expect a run here. And you get it on 2nd and 15. Bell, good play made by the young linebacker Christian Jones. He's a rookie. 3rd down coming up, and an opportunity to get a stop here and force a field goal try. That 1991 team, the Stars, the great Barry Sanders, Eric Kramer, Gray Moore, Wayne Fonts. The last time the Lions team reached 11 wins, and there he is. They did it twice under Wayne Fonts. Had success there in Detroit.
As good as Barry Sanders was for the Lions, and you know that year, Eric Kramer, people forget he had a great season. He was Pro Bowl quarterback that year, and you mentioned it earlier. They beat us in the divisional round with the Cowboys, and then they went on to play the Washington Redskins in the championship game. That game didn't go too well for the Lions, and the Redskins then went on to win the Super Bowl that year.
Now 3rd down and 12. Screen for Bell. Bostic got in there to make the play first, and Bell is going to be brought down on a tackle by Allen. A gain of 5. It's 4th down. The Bears out of timeouts, but the defense has kept this a 1-score game.
Well, they have, and you know now they're going to have to do it again, regardless of whatever happens here. The play that really kept the Lions from maybe icing this game was the first down play to Reggie Bush. He had the corner, he had outflanked the defense, and Stafford just didn't give them a very good ball, and so now they're forced to have to settle for a field goal.
Nothing's been automatic in the kicking game for the Lions all year. Prater has had one blocked. This from 30. Perfect. By the way, the Packers, with their win over Tampa Bay, and that's happened, Packers have now reached the playoffs for the 6th consecutive time under Mike McCarthy. It's a funny game, isn't it? Opportunity for Jimmy Clausen, down by 6 now. He has taken over for Jay Cutler here with the Bears, and there have been some really good throws. And we've seen a quarterback in command despite the little time he's had when it's counted.
Yeah, pretty confident guy, as I said when we visited with him on Friday, for someone who hadn't started a game in over 3 years. And I know in visiting with Erin Andrews, who followed him when he was coming out of high school and going to Notre Dame, she said he was essentially Johnny Football before Johnny Football. He shows up to sign his letter of intent, has a limo that drops him off, and says they're going to win a number of national championships there. And I thought, really? I mean, I sure didn't gather that, you know, in his personality from visiting with him on Friday. But he's been pretty cool here in this game, and plenty of time still left in this game with over 2.5 minutes to play.
That confidence comes when you go 42-0 in high school.
That helps.
That's what Clausen was.
helps.
Then success at Notre Dame. Slid to the second round, picked up by Carolina, and the next year, after he went 1-9 as a starter, Carolina gets the first pick, takes Cam Newton. Clausen sits there for 2 years and then missed last year with a shoulder injury on IR and cut loose. Mariani. Number 80 on the return, just across the 20. So if you're just joining us, Jay Cutler bench, that's the story. No way any football fan could have missed that by now. And here's Jimmy Clausen with a chance. No timeouts, 2.5 minutes on the clock, needing a touchdown to get his second win in the NFL. Mark Trestman under fire here in Chicago. He's had his backup prepared. To the sideline, Wilson. And the drive begins with an 8-yard completion to Marquise Wilson.
Yeah, I was going to say, the one guy who you don't want to let beat you is Alshon Jeffrey. He's the big play threat, but Jimmy Clausen has done a good job of spreading the ball out to all the guys that he has. And Marquise Wilson, he has 6 catches. Alshon Jeffrey's gotten a number of catches. Martellus Bennett working the middle of the field. So there's some guys here that Jimmy Clausen feels comfortable trying to get the ball to.
Clausen out of trouble, has got a first down and then gets hit. That'll draw a flag. And another penalty as Clausen's helmet gets knocked off and he gets up ready to fight. It was Ziggy Ansah. And Steratore in to calm it down. Here's the hit, head-to-head, helmet-to-helmet by Ziggy Ansah, and another penalty against the Lions.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Defense. Number 94. Contact to the quarterback's helmet. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Troy, this is like the old Lions. Undisciplined, personal fouls. We saw the center Dominic Raiola stomp on Ego Ferguson, and now that hit that's just completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I couldn't tell exactly when Ansah, started to go to try to make a play, but as much as I talk about, hey, the protection of the quarterbacks, maybe it's overdone, that clearly is the hit that has to be removed. It's a dangerous hit. Bears are fortunate that Clausen is still in this ball game after absorbing it.
Clausen on the move is going to throw it away. Pressured by Sue. It's been a chippy game here in Chicago. These two teams don't like each other. Divisional rivals. We've seen a lot of hits, some fair, some not so fair. And that was just wrong by Raiola as he stomped on the leg of the rookie Ego Ferguson, and then this latest one to the head of Clausen.
Well, that one with Raiola, I mentioned it earlier. I mean, I can't figure out why the league does what they do with fines, suspensions. I'll be interested to see what they do hand down to him.
Here's Jeffrey. Can't hang on. Not that there was much there anyway. But that'll go down as yet another drop. Darius Slay on the coverage. It's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, another drop. So these numbers for Clausen aren't going to look as good as really they probably could. And that was close. I mean, ball's out of bounds anyway, whether it had been a catch, fumble, or an incompletion.
Jeffrey's got the majority of those 6 drops. A lot of Lions fans here chanting for the defense. Four-man rush. Pass is dropped again. Jeffrey was right there at the first down marker, and that's drop number 7.
How about that? Perfect throw, too. 3rd and 10, puts it right on. Alshon Jeffrey leads him. Alshon Jeffrey should make that catch in his sleep. So now comes down to this play right here for the game.
Jeffrey was reacting on the drop before he hit the ground. Now it's 4th and 10. Clausen backing up as he throws it, and it is picked off. Either way, it's a non-conversion on 4th down. Glover Quinn has got interception number 7, and the Lions are going to win this game. Trying for Alshon Jeffrey on 4th and 10. And Quinn was there to pick it off. Lions up 3 under 2 to go. Well, Jimmy Clausen's got a lot to be proud of with this day. They're looking at the interception. It looked like Quinn had it, tapped both feet down, maintained possession going to the ground. If he knocks it down, they get 30 yards more of field position, but at the end of the day, they're just going to kneel down anyway, and it doesn't really matter. But how about the day for Jimmy Clausen? This could very well be pick number 7 for Glover Quinn. And it right now stands as the only turnover of the day for the Bears on offense.
You just kind of wonder what this game would have looked like had the Bears not have had so many drop passes, you know, and what kind of day it would have looked like for Jimmy Clausen. But, you know, we've talked about it throughout this game. I thought that, you know, when he first came out, you know, a couple 3 and outs, had a hard time generating anything offensively, and then he settled in and really threw the ball well and did a nice job leading this offense against the league's number 2 defense. Having said that, though, Joe, you know, give the Lions some credit that, you know, their thing has been stopping the run and not giving up points, and to be able to hold any team in this league for 14 points is a good job.
After review, the ruling on the film is confirmed. First down, Detroit.
So it is an interception. But Detroit's offense, they were sluggish last week. They were able to move the ball here early, but had the 2 red zone interceptions thrown by Stafford. But that was a 16-14 win at home over the Vikings, and now, you know, here they are in what turned into a fight, almost literally, in Chicago, and what will be a 6-point win.
Yeah, winning on the road is not easy. So this is it's a win. It's a good win. Not the type of game that they expected coming in based on who they were playing. But like I said, they got a lot of work to do this week before they go into Lambeau.
So some of these defensive players, you see Raiola trying to make peace. We talked to Jared Allen during the week on Friday, and he said, I played against Raiola so long. We used to get into each other's faces and give each other trouble. Now we're friends and really don't get into all that. We welcome in a new audience. You're here at kneel down time, but there will be more to be said after this game. It was a good reminder by you that Jim Caldwell said, I'm not going to apologize for ugly wins, but this was ugly by Dominic Raiola stomping on the leg of Ego Ferguson, and he's trying to explain himself to this defensive line. But as you said, who knows, coming out of the league office, it's at least a fine, and who knows if that costs time for Raiola.
I asked Jared Allen about Dominic Raiola specifically, and as you said, you know, he says he's gotten to know him and all that, but he described him as grimy. He said immediately said, oh, he's a grimy player, and that was a cheap player that stomped on Ego Ferguson.
So we'll hear about that. We will say so long from Chicago. And it's another win, and for the 4th time in franchise history for the Lions, they've got 11, and they've got a date with a division title on the line next week at Lambeau Field against the Packers. Both the Lions and the Packers have officially stamped their ticket for the postseason. And the Lions will take it any way they can get it. We'll take a break and come back and wrap up our day here in Chicago. Hard-fought game, and in the end, it's the Lions winning by 6. Back after this.